Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today on Alex Builds we have got the replacement eyes from ModelModz for the Build the Terminator. So we've got the replacement eyes today. We've done the 3 mods already from ModelModz. We've got the teeth, the wrist joints and the finger joints already, and now we're doing the eyes today. So let's take a look at what we get. So this is what you're going to get. This is the Build the Terminator T800 1:2 scale replacement eye kit from ModelModz. As you can see, the design is in keeping with their other mods for the Build the Terminator series, and we get a little graphic of the eyes down there. So let's open this up and see exactly what we get. So in here we get 2 sets of eyes, and we also get 2 sets of lenses, but one of them is a double lens because it's back and front. So we can open this up, take a look. So as we can see, the actual ball bit is a tiny little bit bigger, and we have got some details now etched around the side there. Now there have been lots of incarnations of the Terminator eyes. There's lots of different versions. They use different versions, so they've given ModelModz have given us different lenses. Here we have a clear one, and then the other one we get is a red one. But if you flip this round, we get like a mesh style red one, which is probably one of my favourite looking Terminators, the one with the mesh. So I might go with that one. We'll have to wait and see at the end. So this is one of the existing eyes from the Terminator. As you can see, no details all the way around it. I did have a spare issue 1 lying around, that's how I'm able to show you this, but as you can see, the actual lens does protrude right out, and yeah, it doesn't look that good. And there's no details all the way around here either. But if we compare it to the ModelModz one, just here, you can see the details in there. So it will look, when we're looking at it, it will look a lot better. And if we pick a lens, I'm going to pick the red mesh, drop that in. As we can see, the actual lens just sits a little bit back behind the actual end of the ball bit there, which I think looks 10 times better than that. So if you want to pick this up for yourself, you can head on over to modelmodz.com. I will put links in the description below. Right now they do have the replacement eyes, replacement wrist joints, the replacement teeth and the replacement finger pins all on their website and available for you to purchase. If you are building the Agora models version of this, you won't have started this model yet, so you can pick these up right now and they'll be there ready for you to install with issue 1. So as you know, I'm building the hatchet version of the Terminator, and I'm already up to issue 56, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of stripping down of the head. So there's not that much to do, a few screws to remove, few parts to remove, and then we've got access, so it shouldn't be too daunting of a task. We will be well worth it once we've got the eyes in, we can see all the details around the eyes and that, and they will look 10 times better. That's why I say if you are building the Agora models version, get them now, and then by the time you get your first shipment, you can just install these instead of the regular versions in issue 1 basically. So let's get the Terminator on the table and yeah, fit the ModelModz replacement eyes. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove very gently this faceplate because we don't want to break off these teeth here. So we're going to remove the faceplate, and then we can turn it over, and we're going to remove 2 screws on the back. Okay, now we've got the Terminator turned over. Just either side of these wires here, we've got a little screw. There's one just here, and there's one here. We're going to remove them too, and then we can remove the whole of the top of the head. So we need to make a little map out of all these screws that we're doing, put them in the right places so we know where they go, and we can not lose and put the wrong screws back in, so we won't have any loose parts or anything like that. So we're going to remove these screws, and then we can pull the top of this head off just like that. And we can put this to the side. I'm going to put these screws either side of the head. So now we can move these wires just to the side, and we've got a screw in either side of here. So let's get them removed because we need to get access down here. So that's one screw, and the second one, and also right down here, just in this little bit here, there's 2 longer screws, so we can take these out as well. Now take these brackets off so we can get access to this part. So I'm going to put them there and take this one off as well. That's that one off. I'm going to take this screw out. Okay, so now I've turned the Terminator back over because we're going to remove underneath the jawline here. I don't know if I can show you actually, I'll try. But underneath here we do have some screws to remove right down there. So we're going to take them out and that will take the head, that will take the top of the head completely off. So that's one. Two. There's one more. Three. So now we've got them 3 screws removed. Theoretically, we should to be able to very, very gently just slide this up to release these parts here. So we've got to be careful not to break these jaw pieces that come up. So now we've got this piece here, so we can work on just this piece. Okay, so first thing we have to do is remove this motor. There's 2 black screws holding this on, so let's remove them. Because this motor is engaging on the eyes and this is what moves them from left to right. So we have to be careful when taking this off. I'm going to put that up there with that part there. And now we can see the eyes, but now we just need to be able to take this little black thing that moves it off from side to side. So we need to take this black plate off, which is removing these 2 screws here. Now I can take that, put that over there. Now we have to gently lift this off because we don't want to break it, but it should come off really easy. There we go, just like that. And now we've got access to the eye compartment. All we have to do is remove these 2 screws. So now we can take this little bracket and we can sort of flick that up to remove the eyes. And we've got to remember that the 2 pins on here go to the top and this one goes to the bottom. So we can remove the LEDs very gently, just pinch the whole thing like that and pull it out. So I can put that one to the side. So now we've got our LEDs out, what we're going to do is, before we glue them to the actual ModelModz one, because we're just going to put a touch of glue on, we're going to actually test these lights to make sure they work before we glue them down. So we're going to bring in our test circuit that we got. I think that was with issue 3. So we can plug these in one by one. That's the first one. Glows red, so that one's okay. And now we can do exactly the same with the second one. Plug that one in. Red light. So both of these LEDs are okay, and we can put them in the ModelModz version. Okay, so now we need to bring in the ModelModz replacement eyes. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to fit these straight in here, remembering that the 2 pins go to the top, just like that, and then we can take this bracket and put it in. You'll notice that I haven't painted this black piece here. There is a lot of people that are painting this silver or grey. I'm going to leave mine black just because I want to see the difference when it's fully built, but yeah, so I'm going to leave that black. I may put some silver details around the eyes at some point, but for now I'm just going to leave it black. So I'm going to put the 2 screws back in to hold these. So let's get the first one in. And the second one. Just like that, and now our eyes can move left to right. So now we've got the replacement eyes installed. We're just going to put a little dollop of glue just on the inside, so we don't need a lot, just enough to make sure our LED doesn't fall out. So I'm just going to put the first dollop of glue just inside this one, and then we can install one of the LEDs. So I'm going to push that into there and just give it a hold just for a few seconds while the glue takes to that. And I'm going to do exactly the same for the other side. Don't need a lot. Now we can take our second LED and we can push that in as well. And that's what you should have so far with the LED eyes in. So while we've got this all stripped down, we're going to bring back our circuit board and we're going to plug this in. And we're going to test out the different lenses. So we're going to have one of each. I have the red and the clear. So let's take a look at the red first. I'm going to drop that in just onto there, and I can turn that on. This is the clear red, as you can see. Very nice. I can take that one out. I'm going to put in the clear white, the clear even. And that's what the clear looks like. It does look really nice when it's off. And we can turn it on, and that's what it looks like on. As you can see from, I'll try and get an angle like that, where you can see the actual, because it does, when I go like that, it does look really bright on camera, but it's not, it's like a dot in there. I'll try and get an angle where you can see it like that. You can see the dot in the middle now, in the middle of the lens. Looks 10 times better already. And now lastly, let's try the red mesh, which I think looks really, really nice. From that angle there, you can see the dot now. And they are looking very, very nice. That's it on, and that's it off. Okay, so now we've got the eyes installed and we've got them sealed in the back. I've already put on the little lever on the back that moves the eyes left and right. I've already put that on. So now we just need to put the plate on and the motor on. So let's get doing that now. So let's stick this on first. And this is the 2 black screws. Let's get these back on. So it wasn't really that much to strip down. Might look a lot, but it's only a couple. It's not many screws. That's that piece on, and now we're going to re-engage the motor back into there and screw that back in. There's one, and the second one. And that's 2. So now we need to bring the Terminator back over. We're going to refit this back to the Terminator. Okay, so we've got our Terminator back in. He's not looking so good at the moment. That's because we need to get all this back on. So we need to be careful when doing this. We need to be mindful of these pieces when putting it back on. So we need to try and locate these in whilst trying to maneuver this back into place. So we're going to do it slowly, inching it forward until we can get it into place. Just like that. And now we can guide these ones in. And there we go, it's back in place. So now we've got the 3 screws to go back underneath the jaw to hold this back in. last screw now. And there we go. That is that reattached back onto there. So now we can flip this back over and we're going to be putting on these brackets. Okay, so we've got them flipped back over and we're going to be mindful of these wires. We're going to feed them just down the side here. This one, I believe, went through the middle. So I'm going to put these back on. Now we just need to try and remember which way they go. So this one's for this side. This is going to sit like that. Locating the front into the peg hole and lowering that down. So we'll get the screws back into here. Put this one in first. First one in, and now the second one. That's that. Now we can put the second bracket on. Be mindful of these. I'm just going to move them out of the way while we get this in. So again, find the locating pin at the front, and that's going to help us guide that into place. And now let's get the two screws in, and this will hold it forevermore. Just like that. And now the next thing to do, I'm going to move these wires back over here. We're going to feed this one here. I believe this went over the top, if I'm not mistaken. If not, it's only two screws to remember. I believe that went like that. So I'm going to leave that just like that. Okay, so now we're going to be fitting the cranium. This is the front with these two parts here, the indents, they're the front. And when we turn it back around, we've got the 4 magnets on the back. So we want the back facing this end. So we're going to lift this up and we're going to line it up with this cut out here onto the side, just here, making sure it aligns into these grooves. So we're going to get the front, slide that down, just like that. Check the other side, looking good. So now we can get them 2 screws, for the last 2 screws we've got, and this will secure this back on top. That's the first one, and the very last screw. Just moving these wires out the way and securing that down, just like that. Now we can, for the last step, we're going to flip him back over. So now we're going to install our lenses. So I'm going to pick the red mesh. I'm going to drop them in. There's one, and there's number 2, just like that. You can interchange these anytime you want, or if you want a more permanent fixture in there, just put a little bit of glue just on the side and they'll hold them in place for a more permanent fixture. Now we're going to apply the faceplate. So let me grab that. Last but not least, slide this down, gently minding the teeth, and there we go. That's our Terminator all back together. Looking very mean. Here we have our T800 all put back together, and that wasn't so hard. So now we've got our replacement eyes in there. I did leave the actual faceplate on the back here. I did leave that black. I may add some silver accents in there eventually, but I do like the way it looks black. It gives it a sort of dark, menacing look. You can paint that in a silver or grey colour if you wish, just to give it that metallic look. So we've got replacement eyes, replacement teeth, the replacement wrist joint on here, and also our replacement finger pins just here. So we're going to quickly, before we sign off on this video, we're going to give the lights one more go, just to show you how that's looking. That's it, guys. That is the replacement eyes from ModelModz, all installed in our Terminator. I have to say, it already does look so much more menacing. I can't wait till I've got it all fully built and stood up in the corner there. It will look really menacing. I may even interchange the lenses every now and again. But yeah, it does look so much more menacing, especially with the teeth. The teeth and the eyes really do complement each other, and there was always something about those teeth and those eyes that just, the sculpting on the overall Terminator is amazing. But the eyes were a massive letdown, and so were the teeth. The teeth sculpting was awful. But now we've got the replacement eyes and the replacement teeth. They do make the face look a lot more complete and a lot more menacing and a lot more movie accurate, I have to say. As for the replacement finger pins, they're going to give us the ability to lock those fingers, and it's going to also add to the durability, because if we've got the fingers locked, they ain't going to move, which means they're going to last longer. And same goes for the wrist joint. To have a solid wrist ball joint is so much more better than a hollow one. I'd highly recommend each and every one of these mods. So a massive thank you to ModelModz, firstly for bringing these mods out and making them available for us, because they do really take the build to the next level, make it look really, really good, and also for sending it to me so I can do the videos so you guys can see exactly what you're going to get, and you can now go and get your ModelModz modifications. So thank you very much for joining me. If you like this video, please hit that like button down below, and also if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Till next time guys, take care, bye bye.